Hello and welcome. You're watching Cricket Buzz Live in association with our fantasy partner, My 11 Circle. I'm Gaurav Kapoor. With me, Harsha Bhogle and Joy Bhattacharya. And got to say, for Delhi has done exactly what is required of the nation right now. They took matter into their own hands and said, we do not care about the fact that we have not won in Chennai in 11 years. We don't care if we've not beaten Mumbai in, 4 encounters now, this being the 5th one. We can turn things around. सवारी अपने सामान की खुद जिम्मेदार है हम होंगे कामयाब well done Delhi Mr. Harsha Bhogle Mr. Joy Bhattacharya please join me in applause for Delhi no क्यों नहीं ताली क्यों नहीं बजा रहे
sorry I forgot we're on a cricket program I thought you were delivering a speech I thought you were asking sorry I thought you were contesting the municipal elections or something
no sir how can it be a speech I actually had 3 or 4 valid points in what I said it can't be a speech then. It's too overqualified to be a speech. But look at Delhi today. They had more than 3 or 4 valid points today. They've got 2 points, but they did so many things right today. They won with 5 balls to spare, 6 wickets in hand. Remember, the target was not a big one, but this is Chennai. Chennai chasing is a problem. Not today for Delhi. Was there any point in time, Harsha, where you felt like maybe a bit of a hiccup for Delhi? Maybe Mumbai thought they had a toe in the door? Didn't really look like it at any point.
There was one key moment when Rahul Chahar came back to bowl. He's a good bowler. He's done well at this ground. And Shikhar hit him for a 6 and a 4. He might have got out after that, but hit him for a 6 and a 4. Those 10 runs of 2 balls just took a lot of the pressure away. Yeah. You know, Shikhar's got an 85. He's got a 92. I like this innings as much as any of those because he played to the conditions, he played to the situation. He said when he was in Mumbai that I don't mind, you've got to play with freedom, you've got to manufacture shots, you've got to not be afraid of getting out. Today he played such a good innings. You know, we talk about 45 from 42 losing you games. Today 45 from 42 won you a game because that was the match situation. I thought it was a fantastic innings and that young man, Lalit Yadav's got a good head on his shoulders. I thought he was I was going by Mushtaq Ali experience. I thought he was being sent out to play the big shots. Now, like you, having delivered the speech, you also banged the coffee mug on the table. I thought he was sent out to play some big shots, but he composed himself so well, bowled 4 overs, was used beautifully, good captaincy, and probably the best run chase because it was so organized, so sensible, so clever. Fantastic run chase.
Yes, I mean maturity, and that also when you're showing it against a team which knows how to win. They know how to win from improbable situations. They've got your number because played 4 times, I think last season was 4 times, right? Including the final was 4 times last season. Won all 4 times. So these things play on your mind. I mean, Joy, you've been with the team for so many years. Obviously, legacy, data, like, you know, they've teams got, you know, the better of you so many times. A ground has got the better of you so many times. These things can play in the mind of players, or do they not in the modern game?
No, in this case they will, because remember they played 4 times just the last year, and that's 5 months back. It's not 10 years back. What happened? It's not ancient history. It's 5 months back. These guys lost 4 times in a row, 5 months back. I think some of the things that Delhi did was very, very good. One was that they kept a left and right. If you noticed, when Lalit kept coming, they kept bowling, kept sending in the left-handers one after the other. Stoinis doesn't come in because they also know that you need to unsettle it. But having said all that, they are 15. They need 15 in the last 2 overs, and Bumrah bowls 2 no balls. What are the odds on that?
Yeah.
2 no balls from Bumrah is a big thing.
Yeah, rare sort of. It's almost like you can't call it indiscipline. It's just a rare kind of off day almost then for Bumrah.
It's a habit that's coming back a little bit. You know, he went through a phase where he was bowling no balls. Remember 2017 Champions Trophy? He bowled no balls. Then went through a period of almost 2 years, I think, 18 months, 20, something like that, without bowling a no ball, or bowling virtually no ball. It's just starting to creep back in. He's bowled a couple more in recent times. It's just creeping back into his game, and it's something that he needs to worry about. Just one thing I will say in defense of Mumbai, because I thought it was a great game for Delhi, was that the dew played a huge factor. Even when they changed the ball, suddenly the ball is turning, but it took Krunal Pandya out of the game. You see, suddenly he brought Jayant Yadav, he bowled a really good over, Rahul Chahar came in, but it took Krunal Pandya out of the game because within 3 overs it was wet again. So it helped enormously. And this is a quandary in Chennai. You win the toss and bat. Yes, fantastic decision. You win the toss and bat because the track gets slower and slower and slower. But the great miracle of nature, you don't control it.
The thing though is that Rohit after the game did say no, dew is not really that much of a factor. But again, we don't really understand dew, so we don't even understand any comments about the dew, where it comes, where it goes, who says what. It's what we saw. But I think the more important statement from Rohit is that it's just his hammy was troubling him a little bit, but there's nothing major. That's the thing, right, Joy? When you have big players, when you have players like Dhoni and Virat and Rohit, when you have all these big players, anything that happens to them, they light up tournaments, right? So, I mean, when you're looking at them, you're worrying as an Indian fan, as perhaps a Mumbai fan, as a cricket fan. You're just looking at that and going, no, oh, my beating heart.
Absolutely. I mean, Rohit, and now, I mean, I want to add to that, Shikhar is in, you don't want him to be out of the tournament, but Rohit going out and, staying out for 20 overs, I think that was the thing that worried more than anything else. It's just the amount of time that he stayed out. And look, I think he's also trying to preserve himself in some way, because one of the things that happen in pitches like this, in grounds like this, where there's a lot of dew and a lot of slipping, the chances of you getting injured are also much higher in the field.
Yeah.
So, it's also precautionary that say, you know what, we suggest you don't go back. If you're feeling a bit of a pull, don't go back. And I think it's precautionary, but it's too early in the season for him to, if this was a final or if this was a qualifier game, Rohit would not be off the field. I'm very sure.
Yeah.
Makes a difference.
And also remember, Karen Pollard's a really good captain. He's got a history of leading a side very well. He's captain of the West Indies now. So why would you take a chance on a dewy outfield? Just sit in the next couple of days, rest it a little bit. It's okay. I mean, I don't think it was such a big deal. I'm interested in him saying that the dew wasn't a factor, because I think what he wants to do, and he's a smart man, I think he wants to divert the attention away from the dew to the way they batted and say, look, up front, this same game, Gaurav, 150 run chase, we think only 13 runs, 14 runs here and there. At each point, the difference between runs needed and balls available is more by 10. Now just imagine that run chase. So I think that is what he wants to say. He said, look, if they had got to 150, it was still a different game, dew and all that. So let's not go to the dew and say that was the reason, because the real reason is we didn't put enough on the board.
Yeah, and they were 76 for 2, right? They lose the Rohit Sharma wicket and then the wheels just come off and suddenly they're 84 for 6. To go from 76 for 2, right?
And which are the three? And which are the three?
6. Yeah.
We talk, don't we, Joy, about 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
Being the core. That was the 5, 6, 7 there. Pandya, Pollard, all out within 3 overs and 7 runs.
But that's what we were talking about before the game as well, right? Because they're 5, 6, 7. We've always attributed so much of their success to the 5, 6, 7, which is the Pandya brothers and Pollard. And they're not getting what they're used to getting from them, Joy, and they're feeling that pinch now. They're feeling that pinch today.
They're feeling that pinch in all ways. In fact, if you look at Pandya hasn't got runs in the last 4 innings. So, I mean, it's not something that Hardik hasn't got runs in the last 4 innings. So, 4 innings in a row is quite a bit, considering you're not contributing with the ball as well. So, it's not panic stations yet. It's just very early in the tournament. They're 2-2 and it's not going to make a difference now. But they'll need to look at it. And the second thing is that I can't see them keeping him off the attack for so long. I mean, right now it's still not crunch situation. I think from whatever I understood from what Zahir is saying, and we've got to know a little bit about how Zahir speaks, that he can bowl. It's not. Their backs are not to the wall as yet. Why are they going to risk him bowling at this point in time? I think that's the situation more than he can't bowl.
You make a valid point. It's not panic stations yet. It's played 2-1-2. That's okay. You've got a long way to go in the tournament. But where were they playing a lot of their games last year? Abu Dhabi. In Abu Dhabi, nice bounce, pace. Hardik Pandya loves it. Pollard goes through with the line. But also, Mumbai's template is playing Bumrah and 2 overseas fast bowlers. And on those pitches in Abu Dhabi, they could play to their strengths with 3 fast bowlers. Then Krunal slips in a little bit, Pollard slips in a little bit, Rahul Chahar gets the bounce on those tracks. So Abu Dhabi helped Mumbai to play to their template. Now suddenly they're coming here, slowish decks, no Adam Milne today. They need those extra overs. Now the absence of Pandya is being felt. And your very good point is he's now failed for 4 games. If he's not going to bowl, he's a bona fide number 5. He's now in the side as a batsman. Try being Kedar Jadhav. I'm number 5. Not scoring runs. The pressure is starting to mount. now the pressure will mount on Hardik Pandya because he's a batsman now. He can't say, yeah, I'll bowl well in 6 games, I'll bat well in 6 games. That's fine. But not anymore.
There is, they moved from Chennai to Delhi, right? If I'm correct, they moved from Chennai to Delhi, another surface that they are not fans of, right? Delhi also, Mumbai's had a tough time in Delhi playing at that ground. And after Chennai, they go there. There you go. They play one more game in Chennai, which is against Punjab. And then they go to Delhi and they play 4 games there. They might perhaps like Bengaluru. They might like that surface. Don't know what it'll be. It's only in the middle of May that they get there. But, it could all be lost or won by then. So I don't think they're waiting till then. They have to do something in Chennai. I think another thing, though, Rohit, with saying that dew is not a problem. I mean, you're saying, yes, bringing the attention to his batting. I think it's also maybe the next time he just goes, the other team just goes, yeah, we'll bowl second. It's fine. Rohit said it's okay. There's not too much dew. Let's just bowl second. Let Mumbai chase. And if this is KL Rahul, you think he's trying to throw a little doozy to KL Rahul, Joy?
You with Rohit, you never know. But look, he's a smart guy. And remember one thing, that's the thing. On a pitch like this, sometimes it's not a great thing to be the captain who wins the toss.
Yeah.
Because you've got a Hobson's choice. I mean, you're stuck. I mean, you have to face the dew or you got to face a slow pitch. You don't know what to do. So sometimes not having to call is a relief, saying, you know what, I don't want to make this decision. You make the decision.
That's right. Just give it in the hands of other people, right? Okay, say please take care of your own belongings, right? It's not my responsibility. What I'm talking about the toss. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, well, let's have a look at what the bowlers did for Mumbai. Let's have a look at the bowling analysis. Because that's always in your own hands. So that's what you have to do. It's a wet ball as well, but bowling analysis dikhao. Before I go off on a tangent. Nahi hai? You don't have it ready? Oh, okay. Oh, there, you do have it ready. Well done. So Trent bowled, of course, opened the bowling. Jayant Yadav did as well with him. Bowled his 4 overs. Jasprit Bumrah 4 for 32. That, is a difference because they're not used to Bumrah giving so many away, especially in a tight game like this. Krunal Pandya 2 overs 17 runs, Rahul Chahar 4 overs 29, and Kieron Pollard was coming in to bowl that last over, just only bowled the 1 ball. So, no, that's the thing, right, Joy? I mean, there was the Delhi batsmen just never let any bowler get on top of them, really.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point. They didn't string. What they didn't do is they didn't string too much. Every time that there was, they were getting a bit of a chokehold on it. Somebody got a 4, Shikhar Dhawan got a 4. Hetmeyer got a 4 in a very crucial time. They just managed to break the shackles in a way that they never completely got under that 8.5, 9 run rate. And the kind of situation that gets you into a lot of trouble. So I think all credit to the Delhi batsmen for that. But I again keep looking at this and saying that with 5 balls to spare, again, Mumbai has done nothing right in this match. They've done very few things right in the match and they still take it down to that last over. You could still see the heartbeat of the Delhi supporters sitting outside of the Delhi ownership and they had their hearts in their mouth. So Mumbai is threatening even in these circumstances where they've got everything wrong. Matches like this should be blowouts. Yeah. And Mumbai is still in the game with 2 overs to go.
But Harsha, we saw this against Bangalore as well, and we made that observation. So Mumbai's lost 2 games. Both those games, you tend to look at them and you go, they did nothing right. They were probably playing at 75%. They probably did more things wrong than they did right. And they've still taken it right to the end. That's the kind of champion team they are. That even when they're going at half speed, they're almost going neck and neck with everyone else.
The question is, if you drive a Ferrari at Bandra, it will only go half speed. It cannot go full speed. It will only go 110 speed. So this tournament for them, playing in Chennai, playing in Delhi, is a half-speed tournament. Now they have to find a way of playing with the half-speed within the half-speed tournament, and that is why I still think I come back to that if they had got 150, then Shikhar would have had or Smith would have had to play differently around then. Now, as it turned out, they managed that run chase so well. They were always in control. The only chance they had was, I think there was a boundary Hetmeyer hit. But it got to a stage of 1 boundary here and there was taking the pressure off.
Trent Bolt. I think that was the Trent Bolt, the one. Yeah. But that's I like that example. And of course, Joy lives in Gurgaon, where every auto rickshaw is a Ferrari, right, on the expressway. Isn't it? Yeah.
No, absolutely. If not, we'll have a sticker saying my other car is a Ferrari. Even if I'm driving a Maruti 800.
I want to grow up. I want to grow up and be a Ferrari. Maruti says I want to grow up and be a Ferrari.
So the funniest part about Gurgaon is if you have two cars, normally what you have an open parking and you have a parking underground.
Yeah.
But you put the Ferrari or you put the good car outside, not because you don't want to protect it. If nobody sees it, what's the point?
I love how, when you started off saying the funny thing about Gurgaon is, and I said, ab to 2 baj jayenge yaar, because the funny thing about Gurgaon could be a 2-hour monologue. But we just stopped at 1 right now. We will unravel more as we go along. Hey, listen, I'm also from there. So just everybody relax, calm down. Before the Gurgaon folks come, oh, tu janta nahi mera baap kaun hai? No, I don't. Just relax. It's okay. And say my regards to your fathers. Let's have a look at also what Rishabh Pant said about Lalit Yadav. He said that...
No, I just
scary.
I just thought of a naughty joke. Sorry, I just thought of a naughty joke. I laughed at my own joke. I just laughed at my own joke.
Can you share it? Is it?
No. I mean, no.
It's almost
change of image. No? Correct. That's why.
No,
what would happen? What would happen in Gurgaon if someone came up to you and said, "Tu janta nahi mera baap kaun hai?" I said, "Jab tak tu janta hai, theek hai."
Yeah. As long as you know, it's fine. That's right. As long as you know.
It wasn't, I'll tell you, that's why I didn't want to tell you. It was a bad joke that only I could laugh because of proprietary reasons. But this is also the time when we crack bad jokes, I'm expecting 2 from you.
It is fine. You'll get 4 from me, sir. It's happy hours. Don't worry. You think this is a coffee. Mangal pe dangal. All right. So, of course, about Lalit Yadav, like the fact Rishabh Pant saying that like him, like the fact that he showed another gear today. And, of course, with his bowling and his batting, geez, I mean, Joy, when he came into this, I think it was the last game or the game before, when he came in, you were like, oh, yeah, he's new, he's, unknown commodity, this Delhi settled. Geez, now it looks like he's not giving his spot up for sure.
No, absolutely. I just love it. I love the fact that these new guys, whoever's getting their chance, is grabbing onto it with both hands. Avesh Khan, picked over him. Ishan might have had a niggle, but he was definitely picked over Umesh. Definitely picked over him, and he goes and he grabs his chance with both hands. Lalit Yadav gets his opportunity. Sherzai is not there. He's going to say, I don't care. This is my opportunity. One season I have to make this count. I'm going to make this really count. And Lalit Yadav has had a fairly decent domestic. Mushtaq Ali and all, he's been phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Just to take off on what Joy is saying, you judge a side by how well the players coming in start to play. That's where Mumbai has been really good over the years. Bumrah comes in 6-7 years ago. Krunal comes in. Now look what's happening this round. Amit Mishra comes in, player of the match today. Understandable. I thought Lalit Yadav, but Amit Mishra. But he comes in, player of the match. Lalit Yadav comes in. He's given number 4. Can you imagine a Ponting and a Pant telling him, "Beta, we back you at number 4." He'll say, "I'm 8 foot uncha hu bhai." So, but he has delivered. That means, and look what Rishabh says. He's a great Indian player we are trying to groom. Okay, but they're trying to groom him. But he has come in and delivered. Avesh Khan has come in and delivered. Something right is happening in that side. There's a reason they finished 3rd and 2nd in 2 successive years. Something right is happening there. Shikhar Dhawan, he comes to Delhi, his strike rate goes up from 120 to 140. I know today young Prithvi Shaw didn't do well, but he's given you 2 innings already out of 4. He's giving you 32 out of 17. He's given you a big thing. Something is happening in that Delhi side that these players are all doing well.
Can I tell you? I had a chat with Ishant Sharma. Actually, I just bumped into him last year. This was before the last year. Well, the world was still open, so it's over a year ago. And he said something very interesting. He said, I love this Delhi dressing room. He said, out of all the dressing rooms I've been in, and he's been in quite a few, right? He says, the mahal here, he says, this is the chillest, most relaxed, and most secure dressing room. And I think that one word really stuck with me, the lack of insecurity. That's what, I don't know, Joy, was this ever kind of one of those intangible markers that you had that we have to take? Sorry?
And John was coach, yeah?
We're probably not then. Probably not at that time.
No, but when Gambhir was coach, Gambhir was captain, yeah? Joy, you know that better, yeah?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it makes such a difference just to know. And look, different teams are chill in different ways. So, for example, Gambhir cannot be chill in a way of, he's going to be funny. But Gambhir is he can make you feel secure. He can say, it doesn't matter. I'm going to back you no matter what. So there are different ways of doing it. Dhoni will do it, silently. Dhoni will not even bother about team meetings. The real meetings will be in his room where all the kids are sitting around and having chat till 4 o'clock in the morning. So every good team finds a different way to succeed. They find different ways to get together as a team. And this Delhi team probably has done it in a more relaxed way, because I think what they've got is their coach is a very youthful. He's played the IPL and he's played not so long back. He's played in 2013. So he's young. He's like one of the players, and he is very, in that way, very forward-looking, very youthful. So I think he brings that energy to the dressing room. And you'll know, I think, with them.
Yeah, I've actually, in 2019, they had this thing called the DC Awards, right? Which was just a complete fun awards. And they called me for that. I went to host it. And it was just absolutely rubbish, silly awards. That's all it was. It was a team bonding activity. The awards were best singer in the shower, best who's late to the bus. And, it was just absolutely these rubbish awards. Which is why they call, because they can only call me for rubbish award shows, right? And I remember Ricky Ponting. No, it's not a joke. This is serious. That's my business motto, sir. But Ricky Ponting, I remember meeting him before the show, and I said, should we do a little bit of a roast? And should we he says, start with me. He says, I want you to start with me, roast me first, so that everybody else becomes super chill and understands what the tone of the evening is. It's like, let's just come out and hit, 2-3 fours in the first over, so everybody knows how to bat on this surface. And that's exactly what he did. And that's what happened right through the thing. And he came back, and then he passed it on where he got the rest of his support staff, and then he was taking the mickey out of them. And then everybody just joined into the gang, and you could just tell that this is a team where no one's looking over their shoulder. No one's thinking, oh, is that below the belt? Is that? They're just having fun, having a laugh, and that's how. And you're so right about Ricky Ponting kind of leading the charge from there. I know sometimes there's a lot of debate about, are the coaches getting too much credit? Are they not getting enough credit? But there is one thing: when you've got a senior player and a player of legendary status like Ricky Ponting, one who's really seen the game for a long time, and a lot of these kids have seen him, perhaps idolized him growing up. Even whether you give him the entire credit or not, you can give him credit for setting the mood, Harsha, for setting the tone.
You made 3 valid points, 3 genuinely valid points. That's in that monologue. Yeah, even Wilson will agree. Just ask him, Wilson Tiga. No, the reason Ponting would have said, roast me first, is Ponting is a legend. He's an all-time great. Right? And there's kids looking up Ponting like that, right? Ponting. If Ponting is willing to get it done, he's broken the ice there by saying, do me first. Ponting is like Tendulkar, everyone looks up at him. That's the first thing. Second, we did a chat with Ponting the other day in between the game. And we said, you are larger than life in terms of your cricketing achievements. But you've got a young captain who's the leader of the side. And he said the captain is always the leader. I'm helping Rishabh Pant take the team onto the field, but it is always the captain's team. Nice. And I think by doing that, he's telling Rishabh, listen, you've got to grow too. I will help you grow. I will help you grow, but finally it is your side. And when he was in Mumbai, some of the younger players were so much in awe. And you talk to people on the circuit that about Ponting, and they all have good things to say about him. So there must be something about him. I'm not saying all the credit goes to the coach, because eventually the players have to play well. Yeah. He can tell Shikhar, look, I think you need to move your strike rate from 120 to 135, but finally Shikhar still has to do it.
Yeah.
So players respond. But so he's got a part of the credit, but the mahal that you talked about is so important. I mean, Joy and me were part of a television broadcast team for a few years. And I promise you, every morning I got up and I felt great about being on that television team, because we all helped each other. We're all, and it's different live sport, but I can vouch for that. I know you're sort of Vincent Pujbol, right?
No, are you talking about us? Are you talking about us three? Oh, you're talking about Few Good Men, right? Yeah, I know.
When you were young and doing music shows, we're talking.
You're actually talking about one of my favorite panels. That's the Few Good Men that you talk about, right? And Wilco spoke about it so much on my podcast, and it just looked like you guys were having fun.
And the people behind, we are doing something called Harsha Online, right? Yeah. And we are doing Tendulkar. The producer chases guitarist
Mark Knopfler.
Guitarist chases Mark Knopfler. Can you come on the program? Keeps it a surprise. How many people know today that everyone says, wow, yeah, Rajat, तुम्हारे program में Mark Knopfler, Sachin के साथ आया. Gaurav Behla has done all that.
No.
So Gautam Bhimani would go wherever just to do interviews to embellish the program.
Yeah.
You know? So when that happens, so if you're talking the Mahal in the Delhi side, maybe there's some kid who's not playing, who's making Ishan feel good.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some kid who's going up to Lalit Yadav and saying, तेरे को लिया है ना क्यों पता है? क्योंकि तेरे में है यार. The making him feel good. The Mahal is so important.
Yeah, it's you
So creating the Mahal here, even if I say so myself, चलो अच्छा है.
It's praise.
हाँ.
Wrap it up. That's it. Back up. चलो हो गया ना? क्या? अच्छा. We apparently have to discuss tomorrow's games as well. So thank you so much. Thank you. First of all, thank you to both of you for those insights. I think people understand it. I think all the cricket fans know that particular era of broadcasting you're talking about, that particular team that you're talking about. So thank you so much for those insights, and thank you for that generous praise as well. Moving on really swiftly. Let's have a look at the points table and what it looks like. You'd think that Mumbai's had those 2 losses, but again, we keep telling you, both those 2 losses have been very bad days for them, but they've run 2 contenders close. 2 teams that are above them, they've run them close. So, you know, the teams that are below them, you shudder the day, even if Mumbai is showing up at 60%, you can't be confident of beating them. So Mumbai still, I think, looking good. Chennai, Delhi, Bangalore, those are the teams that are on top. And then, of course, there's Hyderabad, who still have to open their account, and they are going to be very worried looking ahead because, again, that's a team that's too good to be languishing there at the end of 3 games. So things looking good right now for Bangalore, Delhi, especially Chennai. All right, let's have a look at the 2 games that are happening tomorrow. That's right. It's a Wednesday doubleheader. I don't remember how long back that happened.
Weekday doubleheaders are a distant memory.
I think 8 years. I think 13, 14, around 10 they've happened. They've definitely not happened in the last 5-6 years. For sure.
Wilson को सब पता है?
Wilson knows it.
Okay.
Wilson's got a big head, so Wilson figures everything out. Well, let's have a look at the 2 games that are happening tomorrow. Midweek mayhem. That's right, I used to say that in extra innings. I remember that's when they had the midweek doubleheaders. Punjab playing Hyderabad. That's the first game that's happening in Chennai. And then the action moves to Mumbai. Chennai and Kolkata are playing in Mumbai. Let's look at the Punjab-Hyderabad game first. Very important for Hyderabad. They have to get off the mark. Oh, well, it's an important game for Punjab as well. Yes, because they have a few things to prove as well. Let's have a look at both teams and see if you envisage any changes coming up. Punjab, same problem, Harsha. They're having this problem. They don't have too many all-round options in the middle, and all the other teams are so rich with them, right? They are having this problem of batters don't bowl, bowlers don't bat.
See, they're getting back to the original situation. They said, right, we are going to play Riley Meredith. We are going to play Jai Richardson. They're getting the runs on the board, but they're not able to defend those runs. And if you can't defend those runs, then you start to think, okay, let me tinker a little bit. Already Murugan Ashwin, who I think is one of the top 2-3 limited white ball leg spinners in India, already Murugan Ashwin has gone out of the side because they felt the need to play that all-rounder in Jalaj Saxena. So now suddenly, Punjab don't know how much is enough.
Yeah.
Is 190 enough? Is 200 enough? 220 almost wasn't enough. Right? 190 wasn't enough. So now Punjab are thinking, how much is enough? So Punjab have the same issues again, which is who's bowling at the death, how much is enough, but the team in front of them has the same issues as they've had for the last couple of years. They've got their strengths, but that middle is still an issue with Hyderabad. And I would like to see if they tinker with the middle a little bit. You know, I was just checking, I think Abhishek Sharma has been playing for them for 3-4 years. He's had 100 balls. He's played something like 100 balls, which means he's constantly playing the Riyan Parags, Abhishek Sharma, they never really settle in. So I wonder if, like Hooda's got number 4 at Punjab, and suddenly you can see the difference, whether someone can be given that number 4 if Williamson is not around and say, Bete, go. Lalit Yadav, Bete, go. So I'd like to see, because that will help them solve that issue. Is that someone Vijay Shankar? Is that someone, maybe that's someone Abhishek Sharma saying, okay, we'll back you. Go and play 30 balls.
Arsha, I also want to throw in another name. There's a Priyam Garg there as well. If you remember last year, there was a game won for them by the Indian middle, right? The young middle, Priyam Garg, Abdul Samad, and Abhishek Sharma. That was against, I think, Chennai. But we just not. I don't know. Maybe that's a great point. Joy, do you think that's it? Let's just think out of the box. we've got resources, we've got youngsters. Whatever we're doing is not working. If Kane Williamson is not there, we need an innovative solution to handle us in the middle. Give the responsibility to the youngster.
You've given responsibility at number 6. They need to give responsibility, as Harsha is saying, at number 4. They need to give in whoever they're giving in earlier, because clearly the problem is that Manish Pandey is not accelerating fast enough, which is one of the problems that they're facing. See, the other thing is, the only good thing I say about tomorrow's first game is that one of the teams will be happy tomorrow. One of the teams will have broken some of the jinxes, because both these teams are in what we call an existential crisis. Mm-hmm. One doesn't know what to do, whether I play all-rounders or whether I play with specialists. They don't know what to do. And the other is in a situation where they're saying, these 5, 6, 7, do I trust them? Don't I trust them? Already they've broken the trust by moving 4 guys at one go. I think it was a bit hasty. After 2 games, suddenly 4 players being jerked in and out, because it goes, 4 players goes beyond a tactical change or a single change. I think now one of the things is that dressing room is now worried. Nobody knows whether they're playing tomorrow or day after, what's going to happen. They need to calm things down, and they need to say good call or bad call. We are 0-3. Let's take some hard decisions and say, okay, this is the guy we're going to back for the next 4. This is the guy. No matter what happens, let's stick with it, because if we keep moving around, it's not going to work anyway.
Acha, I remember we were talking when we were doing the preview before the tournament began. You fancied them. You said for the playoffs, you definitely. Looking at them now and looking at Joy has got such a valid point that 4 changes is not personnel change. It's almost a thought process change, right? None of us could understand it the other day. We were all trying to sort of grapple with it. I think Michael Vaughan was with us, and he just fell off his chair when these 4 changes were announced. At this point in time, given what has happened, do you still reckon they can pull it back together?
Look, they've got pedigree there.
Yeah.
There's pedigree in Warner. There's pedigree in Bairstow. At some point, we keep talking about Williamson. I almost thought we should do this whole program without talking about Williamson. But at some point, Williamson comes back in. What they're struggling with is that balance. Do I play Nabi? Do I play Holder? Do I play somebody else? What do I do with that balance of the side? That is where they're struggling. It's an afternoon game. It's an afternoon game in Chennai, no dew. So you're looking at maybe 140, 150, unless they go to one of those. I think one of the pitches has been delivering a 170 game. But it's an afternoon game. Now, once again, they're thinking, oops, should I play Nabi now? Should I be actually playing Virat Singh? So Joy is right. They are a little confused. Tomorrow is the day, today, just about, is the day that they need to find their team for the next 3 or 4 games. But they will start to move very soon from here. So a bit of confusion, but tomorrow they must know what their best team is and deliver a result. It's a big game for them tomorrow.
It is, yes. It's 7v8 tomorrow in the first game, which is a day game in Chennai. That's never pleasant that are playing there, but we got air conditioning. The next the next game that we're going to look at, that's happening, of course, in Mumbai. And you got to think what's going here. So let's pull that game up and let's pull the teams up and see if we have any changes happening. Kolkata's team first, if we have a look at them.
I think definitely Narayan's on his way back, because I think given the circumstances and given what has happened, the problem is they now realize that Shakib can't score at the kind of rate or give them the kind of runs they need at the position they need for him to be able to be sustainable there. The problem is that if they bring in Sunil Narayan, I still think that given the way they are structured, they're not going to change the opening 3. So I'll be interested in how they sort of play their people around. The only thing is that they should realize that there's a reason why they were not starting with Sunil Narayan, and therefore, it's not a panacea, it's not a magic pill that's going to solve everything.
Yeah,
I think Kolkata has problems which they need to sort out, and I still think they're not too close to sorting them out. Their bowling is one of the things that they need to look at. Inexperienced bowling. 2 is that you can't carry. So you've basically, for the first 3 matches, you've carried 2 bowlers who've not completed their quota and not done much with the bat, Harbhajan Singh and Shakib Al Hasan. So how do I actually solve this situation? It's something that they need to grapple with and sort out. Because no team can afford to, even with all the all-rounders that they think they have, Andre Russell is not fully fit, Shakib is not firing, I think they have to sort of figure out what they've got to do with this because they have a situation that is.
Yeah, I mean, we did the preview in 2020. We did the preview in 21. And what did we say? Wow. Owen Morgan, Dinesh Karthik, Andre Russell. Is there a better 4-5-6 in these conditions than those two? You'll struggle to find one in a franchise side.
Yeah.
Not one of those three has fired. Not one of those three has fired. So where have they got their runs when they did well in the one game they won? They got from Nitish Rana. They got on Rahul Tripathi. Not one of those is fired. And I think someone's got to look Russell in the eye, maybe from 8 feet away, if you're a little intimidated by his size, and say, we are not paying you this money to be a 7 overs cricketer. I'll bowl 2 overs, I'll bat 5 overs. No.
Yeah.
Sorry, we want you to make an impact in the game. You're not just bowling 2 overs. Come give me a little bit more. And I think they were right to expect much more. There's something about Andre Russell on the field that has taken the aura away. I mean, I remember that game, 50 odd in 3 overs to win was against Bangalore, I think. Andre Russell strolls in and wins with 3 balls left.
Yeah.
And Russell comes in and there is, oh my God, what can happen from here? Now Russell is dragging himself in. They have to get more. You can't say, I'm this world beater, I'll bowl 2 overs and bat 5 overs.
Yeah.
And I think Morgan's now got to start showing the way. Morgan's got to play that match-winning innings from 4. So yeah, the big guns need to fire. The big guns fire. I still say there's pedigree, and I agree with Joy. I don't think I was very bullish. I've always been bullish on Shakib, but I don't think he's playing that part at the numbers that he's got. Definitely.
Yeah. So Sunil Narayan in for Shakib in your book?
I think Sunil Narayan in for Shakib. That's one. 2 is that at some point in time they'll have to figure out if Pawan Negi is somebody who's gives them a bowling late batting option. What do they do? They need to, because I still feel their upper batting, if Shakib goes out, their batting needs to move forward as well. That means I think, Morgan should be batting 3-4, not later than that. So the entire batting needs to move forward, how they do it, who they send people forward, because they're depending too much on the youngsters and the big guns have to fire. And see, this is the one thing, I've been doing this research. No IPL team has won a tournament without the top 3 making substantial contributions.
Yeah.
And the most inexperienced players Kolkata has is top 3. They're doing a great job. They're actually outperforming or, they're exceeding expectations definitely. But, that's a very inexperienced top 3 compared to, look around the league. Look at the other top 3s that are playing and you'll see that.
Actually, that's the bonus, right? Because pre-tournament, I remember all of us chatting and saying that, they've got a great 4-5-6. The 1-2-3 is inexperienced. They need more from the 1-2-3. They didn't get it previous season. They're getting it, Harsha, from 1-2-3. Now it's the 4-5-6 who are not giving it to them.
Let's look at that side once again. They're playing their first game in Mumbai. Right? The KK are playing the first game in Mumbai.
Yeah.
I won't be surprised because Prasidh Krishna has looked impressive, but the numbers haven't sort of added up to the visual impression that he's creating. Because he's bowling 3-4 good balls, he's conceding runs. I'm looking at Mumbai and I'm saying, what do Mumbai do well? When Mumbai are playing in Mumbai, they play 2 fast bowlers. I won't be surprised if they play Cummins and Ferguson together. Maybe not Narayan, but maybe Cummins and Ferguson together. Along with Prasidh Krishna and Russell, and maybe just back their 6 batsmen and say, okay, Cummins at 7 is good enough to come out and bat. So maybe we'll try that kind of setup, or maybe then they'll just tickle around a little bit, find an Indian batsman to bat down. But don't be surprised if they play Cummins and Ferguson locky together.
We discussed this yesterday. We discussed this last night. So let's get Harsha's opinion on this as well. Yes, a Kolkata team without Andre Russell in it, that just seems, you can't even, is blasphemous. How do you even suggest that? But till a season back, it was equally blasphemous to say that a Kolkata team would play without Sunil Narayan, right? So, things happen. You have to kind of move on. They have got a Ben Cutting there. So it's not like they haven't been thinking the same as well, right? If they've got a cover, right? A guy who can bowl you a few overs, super fit gun fielder, right? Can hit a long ball as well. We've seen that. Could you perhaps see that at some point in time if they are, because you're not getting the, even with the running, you're not getting the 2s. He's converting 2s into 1s, is Russell, when he's batting. He's having a tough time fielding, right? There is the issue with the knees, etc. Do you see that happening at all?
I would give him the game in Mumbai because the ball comes on in Mumbai and travels a lot. smallish boundaries. Nowadays they're playing on they're not playing much on the center strip. So one of the boundaries about 62 meters. Not that it matters for Russell, he hits it 85 and he's in. But given that in Mumbai the ball comes on quickly, it might travel quickly. So Russell might enjoy batting here in Mumbai a little bit more. So I'd still give it to Mumbai because it's still that little feeling here. Russell, jab tak hai na, game is alive, even though he's not playing to that level anymore. But in Mumbai, I'd still look at Russell. Can you look at, if Russell's going to give you 3-4 overs, can you look at maybe even look at a cutting for a Shakib?
Interesting.
Yeah, you could look at a cutting for a Shakib. But the other thing I'm thinking about though is, Harsha, I'm going back. I like your idea of playing with two fast bowlers, and there's a reason for it. Two international fast bowlers, because hey, who you scared of from Chennai? The one batsman you're looking, Ambati Rayudu, Suresh Raina. None of them like the ball out here.
Yeah,
Moeen Ali.
All these guys, and if Prasidh is whatever it is, he's quite fast. He's a 140 bowler. So if you have three bowlers who at 140, 145 plus can deliver it here for 12 overs, I think this Chennai side is not a side that will enjoy playing under conditions like this. I think Faf might do okay, but the rest will not enjoy it. They might succeed, they might fail. So I'm liking your idea of throwing caution to the winds, because it is a situation like that, and going with both Lockie and Cummins.
I'm also telling Russell, you bowl 140, man. Give me 1 over. Give me 1 over in the middle. Go hard 1 over. If you want to come back and bowl 2 at the death, that's fine. But give me that 1 additional over in between at top pace. Let's try and use pace to rattle Chennai. And you're right. I mean, Moeen is here. Raina is here. I mean, Raidu's got pluck, so Raidu will find his way out. Can you get to Dhoni? Did you see what Dhoni said to me the other day? He said, those 6 balls that I played another day could lose us the game. Yeah. Dhoni's mind is whirring. He's as sharp as ever. When Dhoni's 80, if there's half an inch of turn, Dhoni will still win the game for you from there as a captain.
Yeah.
But his batting, he's still struggling. Yeah. So if you see that side, I mean, last game they made 180, top score 33.
Yeah, there's definitely vulnerabilities. Yeah.
So if you can get the fast bowlers in to attack them, I think there's an opportunity there. So that's why I thought, get 1 more from Russell in between, play Ferguson and Lockie and Ferguson and Cummins, and come hard at them with Prasidh as well, with four quicks, and then you use Varun Chakravarti, and there must be another spinner somewhere, because they always have 6 who are missing out. That's Chennai though, by the way. But I mean, the thing with Chennai is they bat all the way down to 11. We saw Bravo played a match-winning cameo the other day. They bat all the way down.
Would you think of perhaps letting Ambati Rayudu open with Faf? Rituraj Gaikwad has not got them runs. Yes. So let's say you open with Ambati over there. You've got Moeen then at 3, and at 4 you get Suresh Raina. You can pluck somebody else. You can put Jadeja at 5. You've got Sam Curran. You've got, everybody just moves up a spot, and maybe you just add another bowler. Maybe you add Krishnappa Gautam, since you paid so much money for him.
Maybe not in Mumbai, because there's not much there for him to do. My question is, if you take out Ruturaj Gaikwad and replace him with Rayudu, is there another batsman that you can add on?
Robin Uthappa, or maybe just get Robin to open. Maybe get Robin to open with him.
That's the other possibility, because Robin might be nudging 35, but he's still good at playing the fast bowling.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing we know from Kolkata tomorrow is you're not getting 5 overs of spin in the power play, right, Joy?
No chance at all. This is a completely different pitch, different conditions. Yeah. See, the other thing, I really think that Chennai will be looking at this and saying, can we find a way for Ngidi to play? Because Ngidi will be useful for them. He'd really be useful for them in these conditions. He'll do well for them. I'm just wondering whether they looking at each other and saying, should we give a chance? Or given that Dhoni's work, this depth has worked for him, because if a team reaches 180 with the highest score of 33, that means depth has worked for him, right? Yeah. So his formula of playing with 9-10 batsmen has worked. Maybe he'll just say, why am I tinkering with what's working for me, and just stay with what he has.
Is there another bowler for Kolkata? I don't see Harbhajan playing too much more again now, because Harbhajan he's 40. The balls at third man are getting to the boundary a little quicker than they used to. Yeah. When he's on the boundary, is he playing that role because they want to attack the left-hander at the start? So maybe instead of Harbhajan, is there another spinner down there?
Kuldeep Yadav. Kuldeep is still there in the team.
Or has Kuldeep become, in the words of an English coach of the past, unselectable?
Yeah, it's
Has Kuldeep become unselectable, or will you give Kuldeep another go, given that the boundaries in Mumbai are short? Or will you say, no, I'll just get another finger spinner from somewhere? So I've got a Pawan Negi. Maybe I'll give him a go, because not working with Harbhajan. He's got the guile, he's got everything, but it's not working at the moment with Harbhajan. That's one place being used up. So maybe they can do that there as well.
But Joy is what's like Kuldeep. That's all. I just have one word to say, Kuldeep.
Yeah, but see now that they've, I think if you had to bring Kuldeep in now, the best way to do it is to move to a new surface and then do it.
Yeah,
Not say put him in Mumbai in these conditions. Just say, okay, we're moving to a different pitch. We're moving to a Delhi or somewhere else. Then you turn around and say, let's play him there, because I don't think Mumbai will suit a bowler, especially when he's on a comeback. Because one of the things that a smart team like Chennai would do is that Dhoni would immediately first go and say, attack him now. Attack him early before he gets onto your head. Just hit him out the attack. They don't trust him right now. He's not 100% confident right now. This is the time to attack him. So they will do that. And in that way, teams are ruthless. They will attack you. They see weakness. They see any sign of you being unsure of yourself, they'll go after you.
Okay, well, we're of course going to discuss this tomorrow as well. It's a double header, so we're going to be here through most of the day. 3 of us are going to be here with you for most of the day, so do join us then. Right now, of course, we have the Joy Factor question and answer. Anyone win today? First of all, that's most important. Did anyone win today? Have we got a winner?
3,724 answers.
That's right.
3,724. How many correct?
All correct. Nobody got it.
Joy, you're like one of those sides that turns up and wins 7-0 one day, turns up the next day and loses 0-6. So you're all or nothing. You've become an all or nothing quizmaster.
Yeah.
This is after 12 o'clock at night. These are very unfortunate attacks. I'm not happy.
Actually, we're being
too
hard on.
Let's bring the question. Let's bring out the question and then see the answer. This is a twisted one. If you take a minimum of at least 20 overs bowled, who was the most economic bowler in the first edition of the tournament in 2008? Yes, Professor Saab, bataiye.
And the answer is Saurav Ganguly.
Wow.
Saurav Ganguly was the most economical bowler in the first year of the IPL. Absolutely amazing. In fact, the guy he just pipped was Sohail Tanvir, who of course, and with all this, Saurav took 6 wickets as well. So, he was quite impressive that first year. Just got a little bit of swing and did stuff with the ball.
Please tell me.
700 people guessed Saurav Ganguly?
No, I think it was 3,000. It was 3,700 Bengalis who guessed that. Correct?
Yeah, but those 3,700 people, if you say who was first man on the moon, might say Saurav Ganguly.
He was.
Nah, it's just
You mean he wasn't?
He was. He totally was. Will you tell us who the winner is?
And the winner is
Jai Vijay. Jai Vijay.
I mean, either his father is a Sholay fan or there's something happening out there.
Yeah.
Like if your name is Jai Vijay, your father has to be a Sholay, or your mother has to be a Sholay fan.
Big Bachchan fan. Right? Yeah. Vijay. He's done the most films as Vijay, perhaps. And of course, Jai, the famous character from Sholay. So congratulations to you, Jai Vijay. Jai Vijay is like an Ishan Kishan. Jai Vijay.
Let's check if he was born in 1977.
Sholay was 75.
No, Jai Vijay starring Jitendra, Bindya Goswami, Reena Roy, Urmila Bhatt, Pental, Kamal Kapoor, Om Shivpuri, Prem Kishan, Rupesh Kumar, Satyen Kapoor, Lalita Pawar. Jai Vijay, 1977.
बंद कर दुकान बस हो गया चलो क्या हो रही है what is this but I'm just happy sir can I tell you something what I'm happy about at least your references are moving up time at least it got you till 1977 we're not in the 40s and 50s anymore this is progress we're of course going to have a lot more progress because that's the one thing that you can be sure of with us when we meet you at 2:50 p.m. Today, not tomorrow. Today, later today. That's right. It's past midnight. So later today, we're going to meet you at 2:50 p.m. There's a midweek double header. तो भूलिएगा मत. आइएगा ज़रूर. आपका स्वागत करेंगे हम. A big thank you to Harsha Bhogle and Joy Bhattacharya. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us. I know that it's past your bedtime, so I will let you guys go. And for all of you in different parts of the world, I know it's probably your bedtime as well. But one last thing I want to tell you is about CricBuzz Plus. I hope you have subscribed and you have signed up, because there is some very cool content that is over there, some premium content. And Mr. Bhogle has made some special dishes for that August gathering as well, which will be served up very shortly. So I think that you should... Wilson, edit हुआ या नहीं? कर रहा है सर, he's working on it. कल आपको अपडेट देता हूं मैं 2:50 पे. डंडे मार
का रिफ्लेक्शन दिख रहा है वहां से.
सारी रात काम कर रहा हूं डंडे मार के. सारी रात काम कर. I have a sweatshop to run, so I'm going to leave. Good night, gentlemen. Thank you for joining me. Big thank you to our entire crew working tirelessly at this point in time. So hats off to them in these difficult conditions. So just a big shout out to them. I'm Gaurav Kapoor saying thank you for watching CricBuzz Live in association with our fantasy partner, My 11th Circle. Good night. Good night.